a lot of big updates when it comes to Nintendo Switch 2. It just doesn't stop between what we got with the Nintendo Direct, got the Splatoon Raiders Direct. There's all sorts of stuff happening right now. We got to talk about what's going on with the Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. Where is this game at? We kind of got one half of it, I guess not the HD version, but we did get the Legend of Zelda Wind Waker with the NSO. But what's going on with the Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess HD? Because there's various different versions of it. There is the GameCube version, there's the Wii version, there's the Wii U version. Which version are we going to get when it comes to Nintendo Switch 2? Well, we've got some updates and details on that, in addition to a potential big tech upgrade for the Nintendo Switch 2 and some more craziness out of the land of Japan. But before we continue, we are giving away a Nintendo Switch 2 at 140,000 subscribers or on September 1st, whichever comes first. Subscribe, like, comment. The winner will be chosen at random, and it's a worldwide giveaway. Thanks, peeps. All right, starting off here, Nash Weedle, who's been spotty when it comes to his rumors. He's gotten some things right, he's gotten some things wrong. There are a number of things recently that he's gotten right, so I'll cover it if there's some other rumors from other places that also back up kind of what's being said. So when it comes down to it here, we've got a new bit of information in a video from Nash Weedle stating that Nintendo is finally planning on bringing The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess to the Nintendo Switch 2. And the interesting thing here is that it seems, based off of what he's saying, is that it's going to be a revised version of the Wii U version of the game. So let's get into exactly what he had to say. Quote, Zelda Twilight Princess, until not so long ago, I hadn't heard anything about it, but it seems that a new version could arrive at some point. I mentioned some time ago that I wasn't expecting either Wind Waker or Twilight Princess if they couldn't add something extra to them, and now with the Switch 2, that's possible. As for Twilight Princess, I've received some fairly strong rumors that it's on its way. As for Wind Waker, it seems to have remained in limbo. So could they take Twilight Princess 40th anniversary with a direct coming up, a 40th anniversary Zelda direct going over the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time remake and the Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess HD on the Nintendo Switch 2 and say, here you go, new information and this Zelda game dropping, shadow drop right away? That could be something. We already got Wind Waker, but that's the NSO Wind Waker. That's the GameCube one. Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD is much better. That is a better version of Wind Waker with the Swift Sail and just other quality of life features. There is the gamepad stuff and the Miiverse stuff that would have to be adjusted in Wind Waker HD, but I do think that it's still possible to do what I thought Nintendo was going to do, like they did with Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. You take both of them, you touch them up, you put them in a double pack for 70 bucks, bam, you got yourself a really nice treat for people later in the year. That Mario Galaxy collection did pretty good from what I understand based off the sales numbers, so I do think that is still possible here with Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD. They kind of take them, put them onto one cartridge, put it out even potentially on the Nintendo Switch 1, then say there's a 4K update for the Nintendo Switch 2, just like they did with Mario Galaxy. So we'll see if that's still a thing. Nintendo's done that a couple times now, but it's been absent. Like, we expected it maybe with Metroid Prime 2 and Metroid Prime 3. That hasn't happened yet. We did get it with Pikmin 1 and Pikmin 2. We got it with Mario Galaxy 1 and Mario Galaxy 2. So maybe we'll see it here. Maybe we won't. Maybe Nintendo values both of those games a bit more and might want to get more out of it. So maybe they say, okay, you'll get Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess touched up here with some new features and adapted for the Nintendo Switch 2, because remember, that game pretty much runs at 30 FPS on all platforms that it's on, despite there being a bump in power a bit from the GameCube to the Wii, but then from the Wii to the Wii U, there was a big power bump and it stayed at 30 FPS. So maybe they're going to retouch that to get that running at 60 FPS. And also, once again, the gamepad stuff needs to be readjusted for single screen play. But I think if they do all that, Twilight Princess HD would be a very nice game to drop probably sometime in October. I think that would be a good time to drop that game. And then you have the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time remake in November. Nice 1-2 punch. You've got the Zelda movie coming out next year. I think it's going to be a good anniversary for the Legend of Zelda. And of course, Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD still in limbo. I would not be surprised though if at some point, maybe next year, or even if they do the plan that I talked about, where we see The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD. I don't think Nintendo's given up on both of those games. I think that they have plans for them, because before Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 came out, people were wondering what's happening with Mario Galaxy. Why haven't they released Mario Galaxy? Put out Mario Galaxy. And they put out Mario Galaxy. So I do think it's going to happen here too. And that would be great, because Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess is awesome. But what else would be awesome is if we got a big tech upgrade for the Nintendo Switch 2, because there's been some issues with the LCD screen when it comes to the speed of it and playing certain types of 2D games, causing some blurring for some people. They can see it, some people can't. But let's talk about this, because there could be a new panel, but we just don't know yet. So a listing on a Chinese resale site has revealed a new LCD panel for the Nintendo Switch 2, which is most likely being produced by Sharp. Nintendo Patents Watch believes it to be a completely updated design, so not just a minor refresh, it could be an improvement over the original Nintendo Switch LCD panel, which Digital Foundry had gripes with in their launch review, but we will have to wait and see on that one. The new LCD panel may also tie into the revamped Nintendo Switch 2 model, which will have a replaceable battery as per EU guidelines. And that's exactly what I was thinking. Now on Twitter, DocTrey81 said, don't get your hopes up, because it's the same people that are kind of making it, so it could be the exact same panel. So we'll see about that. But how hard is it to fix that issue when it comes to the speed? Couldn't they just fine-tune that a little bit with the panel? I don't think it'd be anything crazy, considering the Nintendo Switch 1 panel is apparently quicker. I mean, it is older technology. LCD isn't necessarily new, so there could be something there that they do to fix that one up. And of course, like it says here with the EU guidelines, they have to do that replaceable battery pack Nintendo Switch 2 as well. So it could be that. I know in the Nintendo Switch 1 era, we got a revised Nintendo Switch 1 where Nintendo kind of just stealth put it out, where it was a better battery Nintendo Switch 1. The battery was better than what we saw in the launch model Nintendo Switch 1s. So I do think we could get a slight revision that does some improvements that Nintendo doesn't really market at all. They just say, okay, yeah, it does have a replaceable battery pack, and yes, the LCD is fixed a little bit, but yeah, here you go if you want it, and kind of stealth get people to buy one again when it comes to that. Now for me, it would be really cool if all of these revisions, like with the battery pack and with the better LCD, came with a potential Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time Remake Special Edition Nintendo Switch 2. That would just be like the dream, and I would hope that something like that could happen, but you never know. I personally feel that Nintendo is going to do something like that. That has not been officially announced or anything. That's just me speculating, but I would think that Ocarina of Time is such a legendary game. You have so many memories and things from about 30 years ago or whatever. When it comes to Ocarina of Time, you've got to get a special edition system out. I want to see the works, actually. I want to see a special edition of the game by itself with a gold cartridge. I want to see a special edition Nintendo Switch 2 themed to the T when it comes to Ocarina of Time. I want to see a special edition Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controller. I need all of that. Ocarina of Time is worth it. It is that good of a game. It was a game that in the N64 era, Nintendo obviously had the Game Boy. They had other stuff helping them out, but that was one of the big financial drivers for them, that if they didn't have that year, it would have been tougher. So Ocarina of Time did a lot of heavy lifting. It's a legendary game. It gave us the basis for a lot of the best 3D Zelda games out there. So we need to see it kind of go all in. So I'm hoping that this new LCD is implanted into, of course, just Nintendo Switches on regular, but also special edition Nintendo Switch 2s going forward in the future, even like, let's say, a Pokemon themed one. So we'll see what happens there, but we'll also see what happens with this Persona live action series, which is apparently a thing at Netflix. And yes, this is real, guys. So a live action series based on the Persona video game series is in development at Netflix, according to a new report from Variety. Christopher Monfette, which I probably said that name wrong, will reportedly serve as the writer, executive producer, and showrunner. Sean Levy and Robert Atwood of 21 Laps will also executive produce, along with Dimitri M. Johnson, Michael Lawrence Goldberg, and Timothy I. Stevenson via Story Kitchen. Toru Nakahara of Sega will also serve as an executive producer, Netflix declined to comment when contacted by Variety. Now, a remake of the 4th numbered Persona game, Persona 4 Revival, will launch for the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC via Steam and Microsoft Store on February 18, 2027. And look out for that Nintendo Switch 2 version because it will come sometime next year, in my opinion. And the 6th mainline title, Persona 6, was recently announced for the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC. Once again, I do think that's also coming over to Nintendo Switch 2. But let's talk about this. Persona live action series from Netflix. Wow, this could be incredible or this could be really bad. I don't know if there's going to be any in between when it comes to a Persona show, a live action show, be it that. So I don't even know what to think. I didn't know I needed a Persona live action, but I mean, if they want to do it, it might end up good. You never know. I mean, the Phantom Thieves is a really cool concept, but they didn't say Persona 5 in particular, so it could have its own story, it could have its own characters, it could be a completely new thing, or they could go off of what we've seen before from one of the Persona games. My guess, it's Persona 5. It could just be a new Persona protagonist, and maybe some of the characters from the Persona universe do show up, like Joker or like you or something like that. So I don't know what they're going with. I don't want to speculate too much on that because once again, we don't have any details on it, but we'll see what they ultimately end up doing. But we'll also ultimately end up seeing what Koei Tecmo is doing because they've got some nice stuff going on here with the Japanese government grant when it comes to a brand new video game project. So the Japanese Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry recently announced the results of its IP 360 project, which provides large-scale, long-term, and strategic support to achieve the goal of increasing overseas sales of Japanese content to 20 trillion yen by 2033, including new game projects from companies like Koei Tecmo and others. Here are the new notable projects receiving government funding, which include Appabot, a new live-action intellectual property called Project Needle, with a unique world based on Japanese history for consoles and PC, fully localized in several languages. Arc System Works, a new fighting game intellectual property utilizing Arc System Works' unique cel-shaded animation style, simultaneously released for all major platforms and fully localized in several languages. Koei Tecmo Games, a new intellectual property titled Fuji, that's the working title, leveraging Koei Tecmo Games' know-how in Oriental expression and action games, with the goal of becoming a global hit. Konami Digital Entertainment, a new console game project meant to appeal to players both in Japan and worldwide, and Yokozuna Games, a cooperative online game that blends turn-based strategy and rogue-like dungeon crawling called Tactful Tactics, due out for consoles and PC worldwide. So very good stuff to see the Japanese government helping out here. Things are just getting more and more expensive when it comes to gaming, and it's good to see at least some governments are willing to help out the gaming industry because there's issues when it comes to things that are happening when it comes to that. But either way, it's good to see Japan kind of pitch in here and get some of these projects off the ground, localized, and financial support to truly realize the dreams of the developers. What I like here, Koei Tecmo Games, new intellectual property titled Fuji, action game leveraging what Koei Tecmo does best with what they do, and it's looking to become a global hit. Koei Tecmo makes some of the most underrated games out there. They put out some really good stuff. I like Koei Tecmo's games, so to see stuff like Attack on Titan, that's going to be coming back. They do make the Hyrule Warriors franchise. I love Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. I thought that game was fantastic on the Nintendo Switch 2. They have all sorts of things that they do. So Koei Tecmo, Neo, that's another one that they do as well. I hope that they make something incredible here. And once again, shout outs to the Japanese government for actually supporting the games and supporting the developers, getting these off the ground, because yeah, it is getting way more expensive. Things are getting more expensive to ship, things are getting more expensive to localize, voice actors, all sorts of things. So this is a great initiative by them. By this support, you can see games and you can see a lot of different titles find the light of day that would have probably never been made at all if it wasn't for that support here and the money coming through to help them out. But I'm guessing with what they're describing here from Arc System Works, Koei Tecmo, and Konami, man, it seems like we're going to get some bangers coming up here from Japan. And I'll be honest, guys, most of the games that I play are from Japan, which you guys know that. Most of the games I play are Japanese games. I've just kind of become a little bit disillusioned with the Western market at this point, and I haven't really enjoyed a Western-made big game or AAA title in quite some time. Now, smaller titles, yes, like Hades, I think those games are good. Some of the indie titles that have came out, Claire Obscure Expedition 33, that game was fantastic. European, French, but still, like, that's a Western game. I thought that game was really good, but there hasn't been a ton of stuff for me. So I think that this is a great initiative. I think it's going to work out well for Koei Tecmo, Arc System Works, Konami. I'm looking forward to seeing what they have for us. So what do you think about everything that we went over here? A lot of content. Let me know in the comment section below. All right, peeps, that wraps it up for this one here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you are someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch 2 RPG content and more right here on screen. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you for the next one. Peace.